What's going on, everybody? This is your WOF Outlook and discussion for Friday, June 9th, 2023. And before we get into today's video, I hope everyone is doing well, remaining positive, and as always, staying blessed. All right, you guys, taking a look at the tropics today. Here this morning, you can see that the tropical Atlantic from all the way off of Africa, extending into the central part of the Atlantic, heading in towards the Windward and Leeward Islands. Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, dry air is still ruling the game here with high pressure. We still have this tongue of moisture coming across Jamaica, east central Cuba, into the Bahamas, and on out into the southwest Atlantic here with this unusually deep trough that we have here over parts of New England here, you guys, in the northern Atlantic, which is funneling in all of this moisture here and also bringing in all that smoke down from out of Canada, you guys. But as you can see here across the Gulf of Mexico, it continues to also be dry as well. No development is expected across the tropics within the next 7 days, you guys. And as you move on to the Eastern Pacific, you guys, the same goes as well. No tropical development is expected within the next 7 days. So if you haven't done so already, you guys, be sure to subscribe here at your Weather on the Fly so you can stay up to date and weather aware as the National Hurricane Center and Storm Prediction Center pushes out their updates. I have them posted here right for you guys here at your Weather on the Fly. Now, before we get into the lower 48, you guys, this is still staying on the topic of the tropics, courtesy of Tropical Tibbets. Now, as we start to go past the 7 day time frame, this is right around the actual 7, 8, 9 day time frame. We will have a lot of moisture starting to pile up here across parts of the southern southwestern Caribbean. And as we take a look here, courtesy of Tropical Tibbets, this is the latest GFS run that we have here from early this morning. And as you can see, this is valid for overnight Thursday going into this Friday, this upcoming next Friday that's coming up, you guys. And as you can see, as I continue to play this out, you can see the GFS actually starts to develop a tropical cyclone here, which if this were to happen, this will be tropical storm Brett here, you guys. And as we continue to get this on out into next, not next Tuesday, but this will be the week. This is the week of June 18th through, well, Monday will be the 19th. So June 19th through the 23rd. This will be that week, you guys, that we may be on the lookout for some tropical activity here across the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico. But also, if you look, you guys, you can see the GFS also spins up an Eastern and Pacific storm, which if that was to happen, that would be Tropical Storm Adrian, you guys. But the GFS is notorious for this every year, you guys. At the beginning of the season, the GFS loves to spin up these strong storms that we usually don't see this early in the season due to the conditions not being that favorable. But I have been monitoring this because the GFS have been developing this for about a good week now, you guys, has been showing this and pushing up the time frame as far as development. But it is something that you still have to put a big question mark on because the GFS could show this for up to almost 2 weeks straight and then all of a sudden drop it when it's about time for the development to actually happen. So the key here is to look at other models like the European to see if it starts to agree with the GFS around the same time frame, then that's when you could become a little more concerned. But usually when it's just one model showing it, it's not really too much to cause an alarm just yet. But if we continue this on out, this GFS on out, you guys, and as you can see, it develops the Eastern Pacific system into almost a major hurricane, while you have the system here across the Gulf of Mexico, probably at most a Category 1 hurricane under this, strengthening to a Category 2, possibly even a major hurricane here across the Gulf of Mexico, which I highly doubt this is probably going to materialize. This is probably not going to materialize like this, you guys. But I just wanted to show you all what the GFS was showing here. And this is right here. This is for early on Friday morning, June 23rd. The GFS has a bona fide major hurricane here south of the south central Louisiana coastline heading northwest towards the upper Texas coast, making landfall around the Houston Galveston area sometime early Saturday morning on June 24th. Now, as I said, we're going to continue to monitor this here at your weather on the fly because the GFS is notorious for spinning up these storms like this. But just know that conditions may become favorable for some type of tropical development during the week of the 19th through the 23rd, you guys. And we're going to take a look at the European as well around that same time frame. This would be right around that overnight Thursday into Friday, you guys. And as you can see, the European has a different tune than the GFS, you guys. You can see as we continue this on out, the European just have a lot of moisture down here, nothing organized. As we go as far as the European will go out, you can see the European just have a lot of moisture here around the Yucatan Peninsula here, Nicaragua and Honduras in these areas, you guys. And more than likely, that could also be the Central American gyro, which is basically a big low pressure area that spans across Central America, sometimes over the Yucatan Peninsula. It could be over Nicaragua, Honduras, you guys. But usually that Central American gyro could be the foundation that usually start a lot of storms typically in the beginning of the season and as we get towards the end of the season. So as I said, this would just be something that we would have to continue to watch and monitor. It's not a sure bet that a storm will form. And if one forms, it may not even get as strong as the GFS is showing. It may be a sloppy tropical storm that's with the storms sheared to the eastern side and all the rain is on the north and east side, you guys. So it will be something that we will keep an eye on, you guys. So, as I said, be sure that you're subscribed here at your Weather on the Fly so you can stay up to date and weather aware as I push out these updates, you guys. Now, as we get back to the lower 48, you can see looking at the current surface map this morning, you guys, we still have this persistent, unusual deep East Coast trough here that's continuing to funnel in those northerly winds that is causing that wildfire smoke to filter into the United States, you guys. But you can also still see the cooler than usual temperatures here across this area for this time of the year, you guys, with this unusual deep eastern trough. But as this pattern, hopefully we get this pattern to start to break soon, you guys, because we have been having wildfires also in Western Canada, just about as bad as they've been in Eastern Canada. But the reason why the smoke from the Western wildfires in Canada is not coming to the United States is because of the way the upper air pattern is. The upper air pattern is bringing in the winds from out of the north along the east coast, but along the west coast, the winds along the western United States, the winds are more out of the southwest, you guys. So that is more like keeping the smoke contained up north into Canada. But as we go on through today, you guys, we will have a marginal risk here. We have this frontal boundary that does extend here down towards the Gulf Coast, which will be a catalyst for possible showers and severe storms here across parts of the Florida Peninsula and Panhandle, you guys. And extending on up, we do have another marginal risk here for severe weather across parts of eastern Colorado, Kansas, parts of west central Kansas here, you guys, Oklahoma, getting into the Texas Panhandle, and in parts of northwest going into southwest Texas. We will have that threat for a marginal risk of severe weather, while we still have this upper low spinning here across parts of Nevada and Idaho, you guys. So we're going to pause this, take our brief 10-second intermission, you guys. I said 10 minutes. 10 seconds while I get the surface plots off so we can get to the convective outlook. All right, you guys, almost there. All right, you guys, and as you can see, the Storm Prediction Center does have that marginal risk out for Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and parts of eastern Colorado, and yet again for parts of the Florida's Panhandle, getting down into the east coast of the Florida Peninsula. As we look to see what these storms are going to be doing today, we are not expecting no tornadoes to spin up today. That is good news, you guys. Hail, we do have a 5% chance of hail pushing 1 to 1.5 inch in diameter here across parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and eastern Colorado, and yet again across the Florida Panhandle and the east coast of the Florida Peninsula. Winds 50 to 60, gusting to possibly 70 here across parts of the southern plains here, the southern high plains, and yet again across parts of the Florida Panhandle and Peninsula. Now, as we go to the HRRR, you guys, to see just how these storms are going to materialize throughout the next 48 hours. All right, let's see. All right, we're going to start here at 12 o'clock, you guys. All right, get this to load. And as you guys, you can see by 12 o'clock, we may have some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder here up across parts of the northeast United States, with that upper trough that's being very persistent there across the New England area. We may have some showers and thunderstorms here across parts of northwest Iowa, extending on into parts of western Minnesota, you guys, and even across parts of northern Montana, where there's been a lot of flash flooding and a lot of rain going on there, you guys, and we will yet again be on the lookout for some flooding in that area as we go on through today. As we move on to about 5, 6 in the late afternoon, going into the evening, you guys, you can see, look here across parts of the Florida Panhandle Peninsula. We will have some heavy cells that could be producing that hail and locally damaging winds. Yet again here across parts of eastern Colorado and even across parts of southwest Texas. We will have some showers and thunderstorms littered all across parts of eastern Montana, South Dakota, Minnesota, here, even across parts of northeast Nebraska. May have some isolated showers across parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, you guys. And as we move on into the overnight hours, let's check and see as this load. All right, you guys, as we head into the overnight hours, you can see across South Dakota, east central Nebraska, getting into central Kansas, on down into parts of western Oklahoma here. We could have a cluster of showers and thunderstorms. We'll be on the lookout for some heavy rainfall as well during the overnight hours for these storms. And as we head into 7 a.m., that does segue us to Convective Outlook Day 2, you guys, which will be for tomorrow. And as you can see, the Storm Prediction Center does have an enhanced risk, you guys. Yesterday, I did say I would not be surprised if we do see an upgrade to an enhanced risk. And sure enough, the Storm Prediction Center for the Arklatex, parts of north and northeast Texas, southern Oklahoma, is under an enhanced risk. That does include Dallas, Tyler, Lufkin, Shreveport, Texarkana, Sherman. The slight risk does include Waco, Bryan, all the way down to the Houston area, Lake Charles, Orange County, Lafayette, Alexandria, Monroe. As far east as Jackson, Greenville, Fort Smith, just to the east of Oklahoma City, you guys, the slight risk of severe weather, and extending just to about Little Rock. The marginal risks you have go all the way from Austin, Texas, just to the north of San Antonio, extending as far east as New Orleans, going all the way up into Little Rock under the marginal risk. Oklahoma City is under that marginal risk. Tulsa, Oklahoma, for severe weather on Saturday. As we check the probability here, you can see we have a 2% chance of some possible tornadoes spinning up here around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So we will be on the lookout for a couple of tornadoes tomorrow. Hail, you can see a 30% chance of that hail pushing 1 to 1.5 inch in diameter here around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, getting into extreme southern Oklahoma here. A 15% chance of that hail extending all the way as far east as Jackson, Mississippi, extending on down into parts of west central Louisiana and even parts of southwestern Arkansas here, you guys. The Houston area also within that 15% chance of that hail pushing 1 to 1.5 inch in diameter. The 5% chance encompasses the marginal risk, which does include the New Orleans area, which could see some hail tomorrow. As we move to the wind probability from the Dallas heading into the Shreveport area, we have a 30% chance of that wind 50 to 60 miles per hour gusting to 70. 30%, yeah, that is, you guys, from Dallas to Shreveport. A 15% encompasses the slight risk, Houston, Monroe. A 5% chance for the New Orleans area, going all the way to around Austin, you guys. So we'll be on the lookout for that damaging wind threat. You guys, no significant tornadoes. That's good news. We do have a significant area for hail, you guys, around the Dallas area again, and extreme southern Oklahoma for that hail pushing 2 to 3 inches in diameter, may even start to get into the significant range which I consider to be once we start to get over that 3 inches in diameter, that's when we start to really get into that significant hail, you guys. And as we get on to the signature win, you can see, I mean, signature win, significant win, you guys. Sorry about that. You can see that as we're not expecting any significant win. So that is good news. And as we continue to HRRR out for Saturday, we get to Saturday afternoon, you guys. You can see here across. All right, look here. This is the afternoon. So as we going through Saturday morning into the afternoon, you can see, look at this cluster of showers and heavy thunderstorms, which going to be produced, which can be producing all hazards here, pushing eastward across north central Texas, heading into the Arklatex regions, even extending on up into eastern Oklahoma here, you guys. We move on to 4 or 5 in the afternoon. You guys, you can see all of this shower and thunderstorm activity pushes off to the east here. And look, even more cells starting to develop here around the Dallas-Fort Worth area as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. Even around the San Angelo area could see some of these heavy cells. Look here around the Houston area, this first batch of cells starting to drop down. Look at here as we, oh Lord, you guys, look here across parts of northern Arkansas, getting into parts of southern Missouri. If this continues, if the HRRR continues to show this, we may have to put parts of southern Missouri and northern Arkansas into parts of this severe weather risk here, as these cells right here could be producing some damaging winds and some damaging hail here, you guys. But even extending on down into eastern Arkansas, you guys, we could have some very strong cells heading on down near the Jackson, Mississippi area. Even the New Orleans, look here down towards the New Orleans area, Mississippi Gulf Coast, Ocean Springs. Showers and thunderstorms will be ongoing here, and that could be producing that isolated hail and damaging wind threat. As we go as far as the HRRR will take us out, which will be 1 in the morning here on Sunday, you guys. And you can see a lot of this starts to calm down, except around near the Houston area. We might still have a few showers and a rumble of thunder here as we head into the overnight hours on Saturday going into Sunday. Look here across parts of West Central Kansas here, you guys. We have to be on the lookout for some possible flooding with this heavy cluster of storms. Even here across parts of eastern Nebraska, south central Iowa, extending on into Wisconsin here, you guys. Illinois could all see some showers and thunderstorms during the overnight hours on Saturday heading into Sunday. That's as far as the HRRR takes us out, you guys. That will segue us into Convective Outlook Day 3, which is Sunday. And yet again, you guys, we will have, the Storm Prediction Center does have a slight risk of severe weather for parts of the mid-Mississippi Valley. That does include the majority of Arkansas, Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville, all these areas, getting into parts of extreme southern Illinois and extreme southwest Indiana here, will be under that slight risk of severe weather. Even parts of western Kentucky here, you guys. That marginal risk extends from Dallas on eastward towards Monroe, even as far east as parts of the northern Alabama, extreme northwest Georgia here, you guys. We'll be under that marginal risk on Sunday. We also have a little marginal risk that's going to be across parts of southern Colorado, extending into extreme northeastern New Mexico, you guys. So if you haven't done so already, be sure to share, like, and subscribe so you can stay up to date and weather aware on this severe weather event that's going to be coming here for Sunday as well, you guys. And before we go, I'm going to take that off, the convective outlook off, you guys, and we're going to look at the excessive rainfall outlook. And as you can see here, you guys, we do have a moderate risk up across parts of north central, northeastern Montana here, you guys, for some very heavy rainfall, possibly flash flooding today. We have a slight risk encompassing the outer edge of that moderate risk up there, you guys. And then we have a marginal risk across parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, and even a little marginal risk here across parts of the panhandle of Florida and southern Georgia here, you guys. So that's going to be it for this one, you guys. Everyone be safe, be careful with this severe weather, and I'll talk to you all in the next one.